Donald Trump has to make the student protests, like everything else in this country, about him. And so he decided to do that with this comparison between the protests we're currently seeing over what's going on in Gaza with another protest, one you might remember. He posted on Truth Social, crooked Joe Biden would say constantly that he ran because of Charlottesville. Well, if that's the case, he's done a really terrible job because Charlottesville is like a peanut compared to the riots and anti-Israel protests that are happening all over our capital C country right now. And it's Crooked's fault because he sends the wrong message every single time. The fact is that crooked Joe Biden hates Israel and hates the Jewish people. The problem is that he hates the Palestinians even more, and he just doesn't know what to do. I mean, I guess if he did hate everybody on either side, he would be confused about it. You seem a little bit more confused about it, buddy. I understand that you're very tired these days. I thought you were catching up in the courtroom on your sleep. But he, right there, wants to have his cake and eat it too. So he has to say that Joe Biden hates Israel and the Jewish people because that's what the right is saying, even though Joe Biden has barely questioned the military strategy at all for months and months and months. Except at the same time, he wants young voters to abandon Joe Biden, and they don't like him because he's not helping the Palestinians. So he has to pretend that he hates Palestinians more. So which is it? Which of them does he hate the most? But anyway, set that aside. Charlottesville was like a peanut. A peanut. I remember Charlottesville. Do you watching this remember Charlottesville? Maybe he's hoping that you don't. In case you don't, here's a little reminder of some of what it looked like. Now, I don't know exactly which part of that is the peanut. When the Nazis drove into a crowd trying to kill as many people as they possibly could and successfully killing Heather Heyer. I don't know if that murder by Nazis in America was a peanut. I don't know if the group of all of those guys dressed identically marching with torches about how the Jews will not replace us, if that's the peanut, if the entire thing is a peanut. I do know that there's very fine people on both sides. I remember that. So the idea that Joe Biden isn't doing what he should in comparison to these protests, we can make the argument about that. Maybe he should be out there showing solidarity with the students. I think that would be pretty awesome. Yep. But for Donald Trump to criticize the effect that a president can have on protests when he did PR for Nazis that had already murdered someone, I think he could probably just let this one pass by without giving his 2 cents. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, deep down, they all know there is no comparison. But congrats to everybody, Republicans, Democrats, AIPAC, members of the media, for comparing these two, for allowing the comparison of these two events to flourish, to create the environment by decrying all pro-ceasefire, John, sorry to your chagrin, pro-Palestinian protests as anti-Semitic, knowing that is totally disingenuous, knowing that is maybe picking out a couple of outliers and using them to describe an entire group, an entire movement, by denouncing it as anti-Semitic. Treating those claims as serious leads to moments like this, where somebody who, a group of his own supporters marches in Charlottesville to intimidate, to threaten, to harass members of the Jewish community, to forward a great replacement conspiracy theory. For that condition, you created this. AIPAC, Democrats, Republicans, members of the media, by pushing this idea that these protests are unilaterally anti-Semitic. It's an absolute farce and they know it, but they're doing it anyway.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
John Fetterman also tweeted exactly that, that this makes Charlottesville look like nothing. I mean,
that's insane.
That is the most anti-Semitic thing I have heard this entire time, is the grand flattening of anti-genocide protesters and our complicity in it and the amount of US taxpayer dollars going to it and neo-Nazis marching. But man, you guys, look at the flanks of cops, just, throwing them to the ground. The tiki torches went out. No, man, we all remember that didn't happen. Because again, remember what the cops do and remember who they protect, all right? And if you need evidence, look at what's going on campus and look at how the Charlottesville protesters were allowed to go about their merry way. And the next day, both sides were also repressed. Specifically, the anti-fascist side was repressed by the cops. Look, about Donald Trump, he's gonna do what he's gonna do. To me, that bleat is perfect evidence of the ways that the Democratic Party has allowed the Republicans to actually edge them out on Israel because they actually have no vision. They could easily say and stand up for the protesters. They could easily condition the amount of military aid. My God, how many more aid workers, how many more children need to be murdered by Israel for you to stop sending them weapons? Christ, like you could do something, anything, but instead, no. Again, anti-Semitic, from the river to the sea, any slogan you want, that's what they're going to do. And so they've left a window open for Republicans to actually capitalize on, right? Because who's gonna be more bloodthirsty than Republicans? Nobody. Democrats can't do that. It's just like, at this point, Trump is just what Joe Biden is, but again, more bloodthirsty, more open with it. And so notice the one point in that little statement that he made that said, I guess he hates Palestinians more. Ooh, that kind of stings, right? Because that's Donald Trump saying, even though Joe Biden hates Israel, I guess he hates Palestinians more. That's him nodding and winking because he knows deep down that Joe Biden's absolutely greenlit this entire genocide and shows no signs of slowing down.
Yeah. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.